Hey guys, it's Jay. I watched a video. I can't remember whose video it was, but there was just 3 words that this girl said. And I wrote those 3 words down because they just struck me as a situation that should be spoken about. It should have light shed on it in the hopes of having people understand situations that they find themselves in life a bit better. And that is something she referred to as the fatherless epidemic. I'm going to try and make this simple. Maybe at a later point, if people want me to break it down, I can. But essentially, my view on that term, the fatherless epidemic, makes me think of situations that are very common in life currently for many people, where the father figure is present, is an active person. However, the role of being a father is not being carried out to the extent that it should be to actually have that role fulfilled in our lives. And now this is different for girls and boys, and it affects us in different ways when we are adults. For girls, this issue brings about the whole thing of daddy issues. Now, I want to say something about that, okay? There's a very fine line between a woman who is mature and thus finds older men more compatible for her and her way of thinking and her perspectives on life. And that also comes from the hope that men who are older, having experienced more in life, having learned more and lived through more overall experiences in life, would have a more mature, wiser perspective on anything and everything, thus being more compatible for that mature woman who is looking for that kind of maturity and stability in her relationship. And on the other side of that line is the girls who are mature. They are mature, put that in inverted commas, is because it's the girls who are mature, but they got that maturity from trying to fill in parental gaps in their lives, okay? Those are the girls who will have situations where they look for older men because on some subconscious level, they are trying to fulfill that missing gap in their lives. Now, there, as I said, there's a fine line between these two. I do not want anyone to misconstrue anything that I say or misunderstand. But it is a thing. It is a thing. And it's a very simple aspect. There's a multitude of aspects in how a father not fulfilling his role as a father correctly will affect a girl's entire life. To give more examples, what you as a woman will accept as okay, whether that be treatment, the way you're spoken to, the expectations that you have, and how you can actually end up being manipulated, that comes from a misconception that develops from not having a healthy father figure in life. Yet, if people can come to you and say, ultimately, you can come to see things, experience things, and value things on a different level, a more deeper level of understanding as well, to make whatever changes you need to make in your life. And I'm going to get to that once I cover the guys' side of it. Now for the guys. I can speak from how things logistically make sense. As a man, if you don't have the right example in front of you of how you should treat a woman, how you should respect yourself, how you should value yourself, how far you should go with things like your pride and your ego. Mainly, I think the treatment of women If that is not taught to you by example in the correct way, it is very highly likely that you will, at some point in time, have issues with your relationships because your way of thinking is not actually what is right and what is healthy for relationships. I have a strong belief that we come to a certain time in our lives, we come to a certain age where we are able to think for ourselves. We are able to look at things and actually understand things. Where we are faced with these situations that are bad side effects from the fatherless epidemic that we face, many of us face, we know within us something doesn't feel right. Something doesn't feel right about this, doesn't sit well with me. Be honest with yourself enough to ask why and to go those few steps further. Be open enough to teach yourself to make this change that I mentioned earlier, which is in psychology, we are taught, or if you need this to be told to you, if you need the concept to be mentioned, ultimately it's brought up to be that parental figure for ourselves now that we are an adult. And how that can help is it rewires the subconscious beliefs of what is right and what is wrong, what is acceptable and what is not acceptable for girls when it comes to men, for men when it comes to women in whatever various situations. I do want to say that for guys, I think they can also have a morphed sense of how they view themselves. And often that is the root cause of the way they treat women in a not so nice way. That is essentially the reflection of their father and how their father would have treated their mother. And even with that, essentially the father would have had issues to not necessarily be able to play the role as he should have as your father. This is a topic that goes so deep, and I'm really trying to cover it in a concise way and at the same time explaining it, explaining things, explaining concepts as clearly as I can. Getting back to taking on that parental role for yourself. It's a thing of re-parenting yourself, teaching yourself again as that parental role would have taught you, should have taught you the rights, the wrongs, the acceptable, the unacceptable. It's a one step at a time thing. Sometimes it takes people years to even realize it. For some, it will be hearing someone speaking about it and realizing, oh my gosh, I may have something that I'm dealing with that's related to this. And the fatherless epidemic, that whole concept, it's something that is very prevalent. It's something that is very much so here with these younger generations. And even our parents, to some extent, may have felt it as well. The key lesson, the key thought is to not let that define you, nor how you would treat another person, as well as what you would accept from another person. This was a really big video, guys, and there was a lot of things that were said. Please do feel free to go back and rewatch anything. I do think it is something that is important for us to pay attention to, just so that when we go on, we can safeguard ourselves and actually be able to connect with other people in ways that are healthy for us and are not going to add up in our backlog of shitty experiences with people. I hope this video was helpful. Please leave a like and a comment if you'd like to share some thoughts, or if you'd like me to say anything else, mention anything else, or respond to any questions you may have. And please do subscribe. I would love to have you as a part of this journey with me of sharing information and trying to help people understand things a bit better for themselves and learning how to value and love themselves as they should be. Thank you guys. I hope you guys have an amazing remainder of your day, whatever time of the day. Take care, guys. Bye. Mwah.